Hi guys, so I'm going to do a presentation, well not a presentation, but I'm going to do a course on PBNs and just talk you through some of the stuff that people are doing in competitive markets to move the needle. And obviously by moving the needle, we can see here that people out there do get quick progression, and you know, this particular website's almost doubled its traffic this year alone. And we want to know why, and obviously everyone knows the reasons why is typically down to the use of PBNs. So in order to get a traffic boner as such, you know, we want to start implementing PBNs as part of our link building strategy. Now, link building, it doesn't matter who you are, but you know, it comes down to power, traffic and everything else. You know, what do people look for when they're building links? People are mainly looking at traffic, relevance and power from a domain name, or authoritative domains, and we typically use third-party tools like Ahrefs, Moz, Majestic, and it will give us an indicator as to whether a website has any power or not. Now, don't get obsessed over the power metrics, and that's something we will go into later on. But link building is link building regardless of what guise you put on it, whether you call it a PBN, which is a private blog network that only you use, whether it's a network of websites that someone else uses that they call a PBN but they publicly sell it. I don't call that a PBN. Or whether you buy a link from a guy, or whether you do outreach and you pay for it that way, or you know, you trade off content. A link is a link. And we hear people say that PBNs are the devil. Who is saying this? What sort of person is saying PBNs don't work? Now, it's quite clear that if you look at any gambling, any finance, any porn, pills, anything that's ultra competitive, people will be using PBNs. Now, is it the case that PBNs work in certain niches and don't in others, or is it the case that PBNs simply work? Full stop. Now, that I'm not entirely sure of, and I wouldn't say that every niche needs a PBN, but if you're going to go down the route of using PBNs, then you want to do it properly. But we will see scaremongering reports here. PBNs have been hit severely. You know, yes, of course, someone's PBN has got slapped, they've been caught, and it's been penalised, and that's it. That doesn't mean every PBN in the world is not working. So it comes down to you, your PBN, and how you operate that PBN. Of course, they can get penalised. There is some risk, but they still work very, very well. Typically, some geek in an agency somewhere will run a mile when they hear the word PBN. I've seen it a million times where people say, "Oh, you're this, that, and the next thing for using a PBN." I've got to do what works. I've also got a family to provide for, and I want to make money online. And the only way I'm able to do that is by doing what works. And PBNs certainly have worked for me over the years. You know, a statement from Muhammad Ali years ago: "He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life." That's something I find very, very true when it comes to SEO. You've got to test, you've got to take risk if you want to get up to that next level. There is no point in waiting in that evergreen content naturally getting links from Google. It doesn't happen. Simply does not happen. I wasted 5 years of my life believing in that stuff. Believe me, I really wish that I woke up sooner. So again, do your research, test stuff out, and do it in moderation. Now, these guys here are building 281,000 backlinks a month. It's not humanly possible to do that. Not humanly possible at all. So let it be known that websites in the gaming niche and very competitive markets 100% are using automation, PBNs, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And you know, this is a prime example of that. It's not my website, it's just a random website I picked at random, and that will show you that the sheer volume of links that these guys are getting clearly is obscene, and if you can't beat them, you have to join them. Now, what is a real PBN? What's a shit PBN? Now, obviously there's real bad PBNs out there. Cluster of websites shared in one server. All the domains are hosted on one registrar, all under one guy's name. It's crappy content, crappy links, crappy everything. And it's got hundreds of outbound links. That is not what I call a PBN. That's just a pile of dung. Real PBN would tend to have unique content. It's a website in its own right. Potentially could also double up as an affiliate site. It would have social accounts, GMBs, citations, and all of that kind of stuff would be hosted on its own hosting accounts, footprint free. And if you're going to have a cluster of PBNs, you would want to maybe have them in different hosting accounts so that you get varied IP addresses. You want to mix up the whois data. You want to mix up the WordPress templates, the plugins you use. All of that good stuff is going to go some way to helping you have a real PBN. But the main and most important thing in the whole of this process is it's a website in its own right, and it has real traffic, and it has real rankings. It's a real website, it has real traffic, it has real rankings. Google are going to pass value to it. As I said, what's a poor PBN? People that sell publicly, sites with no traffic, all on the same server, crap content, and obviously low domain metrics. We're all looking to get something with a bit of power behind it. Do not think that you can just go and buy from guys out there 50 permanent PBN links for a $5. Be careful with that stuff. Build your own. And obviously within this, I'm going to go through telling you some of the guys I've used to build PBNs, some of the footprints they've used to avoid being detected, where you can get really cheap or free content, and a whole bunch of other stuff which will be below. So my whole PBN strategy will be below as a step-by-step guide. But this is the difference between a real PBN and a crap PBN. So hopefully that gives you some tips and advice. And obviously, do not buy from someone who's selling this garbage as well, because it is likely to get you a penalty. So just be very careful.